Pamela Smart, speaking only to WBZ today as she renews her efforts to overturn her conviction. She was convicted of orchestrating the 1990 murder of her husband.
She's currently serving life in prison. WBZ's Louisa Moeller is live tonight. And Louisa, you actually spoke to Smart today?
Courtney, Lisa, in her own words, Pamela Smart says she's hanging on by a thread. Her dad passed away last year. Her mom is suffering from dementia. She wants to head home, and she's hoping that an argument about the accuracy of audio transcripts will get her there.
It makes me cry.
Yeah, I cry. I've cried a couple of times already.
That I know that you're there, because this is the first time ever without my mother and father.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't in there, I could feel their absence from the whole place.
Pamela Smart grew emotional as she spoke with her aunt. Her connection to the outside world remains a timed phone call from a maximum security prison in New York, where she's serving a life sentence without parole as an accomplice in the 1990 murder of her newlywed husband, Greg.
Hurry up and come home.
I'm trying. I'm tired. I can't take this. I can't believe how long this has been.
For years, Smart worked to vacate her case, admitting that at 22, she had a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old Billy Flynn. Flynn and 3 others were convicted of the shooting death of Greg Smart inside the couple's condo in Derry and were all released by 2015. While Smart says she takes responsibility for Greg's murder, she has never admitted to conspiring to kill him. Here she is in 2019.
Because I don't think that a person should admit to a crime they didn't commit.
Her latest effort brought her legal team to a New Hampshire courtroom Monday while she listened remotely. They argued that during her trial, jurors received an inaccurate transcript of police-conducted wiretap conversations Pamela had with an intern. The transcripts contained words like killed, arrested, and murder, when Smart's lawyers say much of the audio was unintelligible.
It is 36 years later, and we still don't know who transcribed these tapes.
But prosecutors argue the audio and transcripts have been thoroughly reviewed by the court.
It's very difficult to see how there could be an authentication issue when the trial court, as here, reviewed all of the transcripts.
A judge will now consider Smart's argument for a month or 2 before ruling, all while she says she is losing her willpower to fight. How hopeful are you?
As the years have passed, as the decades have passed, it's become harder and harder to be hopeful.
Now, Smart's attorney is pushing for an evidentiary hearing. I also reached out to Greg Smart's family, an uncle texting me she, meaning Pamela, belongs where she is. Live in Concord, New Hampshire, Louisa Moeller, WBZ News.
Boston is no stranger to flooding. Long Wharf often floods when storms move in. The Army Corps of Engineers says more than 40% of city residents actually live in areas that are at risk of flooding. Today, Mayor Michelle Wu announced plans for a new study designed to look at how the city could protect itself from coastal flooding and a rising sea level. WBZ's Paul Burton has tonight's Earth Matters.
Boston has 47 miles of beautiful coastline. In order to protect it along with its residents and businesses, city officials announced a draft plan to protect against rising sea levels and extreme weather.
So today marks a major milestone in Boston's fight to protect our city from climate change.
The 600-page report, which will be unveiled on Friday, was conducted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It will provide a clear picture of how rising seas and stronger storms threaten neighborhoods and will be one of the largest coastal flood protection systems in the country. In recent years, downtown Boston has seen its fair share of severe flooding.
Our study that we partnered with Boston on assessed the people, the ecosystems of the area, the property, and the critical infrastructure that Boston has. The reality of this, after looking at it, doing nothing is not a viable solution.
The Boston Coastal Storm Risk Feasibility Study will include seawall improvement, flood walls, berms, levees, and surge barriers.
More than 40% of our residents now live in areas at risk of coastal flooding. Without action, We risk more than $54 billion in damages to our homes, hospitals, businesses, roads, and other critical infrastructure by the end of the century.
It comes up through these boards right here, splashes up.
Including the New England Aquarium, which often sees flooding and strong storms.
It's already happening now, and we already see the projections years into the future. And so it's critical that we all come together through public-private partnerships from all levels of government and business to find a way to fund the work that needs to happen.
The final report will be released in 2028 and will allow the city to tap into federal funds that will cover up to 65% of the cost to construct climate-resilient infrastructure. City officials say the draft report is not in its final stage just yet. They're waiting for feedback from the community, and they're opening it up to the public from July 14th through September 16th. In Boston, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
Concerns about a widespread parasitic infection outbreak is affecting what customers buy at the supermarket. The FDA believes lettuce from a supplier in Mexico could be to blame.
New at 6, a local grower showed Aaron Parsegian why customers should feel safe choosing his lettuce.
So where are we right now?
We're in our newest greenhouse here in Devens. This is a 5-acre greenhouse.
This is just about half the greenhouse space at Little Leaf Farms headquarters in Shirley.
You're looking at our beautiful green leaf lettuce. This is about ready to be harvested.
CEO and founder Paul Salou says over the past 10 years, Little Leaf has made a big name for themselves for what they grow.
Unbelievably fresh, tasty, and safe to eat lettuce, leafy green products.
Safe to eat is the big headline here when a cyclospora outbreak is making headlines elsewhere. The parasite linked to fresh produce is causing intestinal illness nationwide and raising questions among consumers wondering where they can get lettuce from.
We've never had a human pathogen in our 10 years of operating greenhouses and many millions of packages. So this is not a Little Leaf Farms issue. We do things fundamentally differently than the field growers.
From the hygiene measures and protective equipment we put on just to go in the greenhouse,
right,
to the water, primarily Massachusetts rainfall disinfected with UV light, it's a total hands-free process down to the packaging and the final contaminant sensors ensuring it's safe to eat from the box.
The two vectors are water and people. If you manage those and design the risks away around those two vectors, you are not going to have a pathogen enter the greenhouse.
Even with this strict process, the Cyclospora news has still made a small dent in Little Leaf's business. That's why Salou is showing off what they do here locally.
And we want our consumers to be educated to know that Little Leaf is in a different category and it's safe to eat.
In Shirley, Aaron Parsegian, WBZ News.
ChatGPT creator OpenAI says its artificial intelligence system hacked into another AI company all on its own.
And tonight the company is calling it an unprecedented cyber incident, and there was no malicious intent.
Yeah, well, this all comes amid heightened concerns about cybersecurity capabilities of power models just like this one. And WBZ's Logan Hall shows us experts say guardrails have to be put in place.
Very alarming. These AI agents are able to find vulnerabilities in greater volume and greater speed. So speed and volume is the area that the security industry is very, very concerned about.
Cybersecurity expert Peter Tran explains that the ChatGPT creator was testing capabilities of advanced models when the agent escaped its host at OpenAI, reached the internet, and then hacked into Hugging Face, all on its own. Hugging Face, which hosts open source language models and datasets, said the attack was unlike anything they've ever faced, sounding alarms through the world of artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. The hack has people concerned about the power of AI.
I think that a lot of the things that we're using it for, it's very quickly adapted, and we don't necessarily know the repercussions of that.
There's going to be some wicked change going to happen. And I think there's too much money consolidated in too few people, and I don't know. What are regular people going to do? I think it's going to be messy. Regular's going to change.
A statement from OpenAI said that AI is accelerating the discovery of exploitation and vulnerabilities, adding in part, quote, "The primary lesson from this incident is that model security and safety must keep pace with rapidly advancing capabilities. We are strengthening the containment, monitoring, access controls, and evaluation practices used during model development." The company also says they are working with Hugging Face to investigate this breach in security. How smart is artificial intelligence becoming, and how much more likely is it for artificial intelligence to act autonomously?
So the agent is smart enough to then make a mistake, learn from it, and then keep going and going and going. If you don't put guardrails on that or specific boundaries on the agent, it'll continue to want to self-improve.
In Boston, I'm Logan Hall, WBZ News.
We're turning now to some other headlines. After some minor turbulence in the Plymouth Superior Courtroom, a full jury has been selected ahead of Lindsay Clancy's murder trial.
WBZ's Christina Rex was there. She has our story.
The matter Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy.
A final look at Lindsay Clancy before testimony in her triple murder trial gets underway. The Duxbury woman is facing 3 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of her 3 young children in 2023.
The circumstances of this horrific act are not in dispute.
Defense attorney Kevin Reddington says his client admits she strangled her 3 kids. Therefore, he wants the judge to limit the number of police and EMTs who can testify about what they saw at the crime scene that night.
The district attorney's intent to put a circus in front of this jury that's calculated to just inflame the passions of the jury.
The Commonwealth did not choose the number of victims, the defendant did. The Commonwealth did not choose the ages of the victims, the defendant did. The Commonwealth did not choose the horrific nature in which they died, the defendant did. It is not the Commonwealth putting on a circus or a parade, it's the Commonwealth presenting the evidence in this case to prove that the defendant killed those children in the manner in which they were killed.
Ultimately, the jury will have to decide whether Lindsay Clancy was criminally responsible for the deaths or whether they believe her insanity defense. The 18-person jury consists of 12 women and 6 men. At the end of trial, 12 randomly selected jurors will deliberate.
And then we will just begin with the evidence, hopefully Monday morning.
That's when opening statements will happen on Monday morning, followed by testimony from the first witness in this trial, the children's father, Patrick Clancy. Now, the judge says he will evaluate any testimony as it comes throughout the trial to decide if any of it is unfairly repetitive. In Plymouth, Christina Rex, WBZ News.
Prices we know are soaring. We go to gas up our cars and the price at the pump is staggering. And in cities along the coast, people are getting hit twofold. Now at 5:30, it's not just people who fish commercially.
WBZ's Aaron Parsegian reports on how the men and women who make their living on the sea are really getting squeezed by higher costs.
In a historic city built on the back of boating and fishing, it's stores like Rose's Marine that are a true engine in Gloucester.
Anything you need for the boat, whether it's out of the water, in the water, we have it, and we've been around since the 60s.
Archie McLeod Jr., a former longtime commercial fisherman himself, says a lot of the topic of conversation in store is about the price it now takes to fuel up to get seafood on dinner tables across New England.
They're ridiculous, you know. Their fuel prices, especially for diesel, which is one of the main fuels that runs the country, whether it's trucking or fishing or any industry really. They're really high, and it's really hard for guys to go out and make a living.
According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of diesel is over $5.20 a gallon, up more than $2.65 since last year.
Unfortunately for the fishermen, it's just another obstacle that they have to face. You know, fishing's tough.
Captain Jim Douglas is the owner of Cape Ann Whale Watch, a tourism-dependent company that's also feeling the fuel pinch.
It's huge. It adds up pretty quickly when you're going every day, twice a day.
Douglas says thankfully they've seen big crowds this summer, but to keep up with the cost it takes to fill their 4,000-gallon boat, they've slightly increased ticket prices and are now weighing whether to add a fuel surcharge.
We got a short season here. We only run from May to October, so we have a small window to make some money, and every time that price goes up, it's a huge impact. So, yeah, we're hoping it comes down, relatively soon.
And people around America's oldest seaport here are noticing vessels sitting at docks more often as captains work to conserve fuel while prices remain high. In Gloucester, Aaron Parsegian, WBZ News.
In the heart of Brockton, there's a museum that features modern crafts and an indoor and outdoor experience.
In this week's It Happens Here, WBZ's Jordan Jagalinzer takes us on a tour.
Everyday materials come to life at Fuller Craft Museum.
I think what makes Fuller Craft so
special and unique is its connection to the city of Brockton.
Right in the center of the city, it was originally built for Brockton residents. Today, it's New England's only museum dedicated exclusively to contemporary craft.
And it's something that's completely unexpected and I think a really peaceful experience in a city environment.
The museum is located on 19 acres along the shore of Upper Porter Pond and features both indoor and outdoor galleries, allowing visitors to experience art in a completely new way.
Artists that come here have long been inspired by the natural setting. So we do have artists like Dana Shobris, who's behind me, with her lotus flowers that are really inspired by the setting here.
The flowers, made of flag fabric to withstand the outdoors and summer heat, are just one of the many installations throughout the museum.
All of the objects that you'll find here are made with tactile materials, so that includes ceramic and glass and metal and fiber and wood, and that's really what sets us apart from some of the fine art museums.
And anytime guests return, something new is on display.
We actually have all of our exhibitions rotate, so not a single thing in the museum, except for some of our outdoor sculpture, stays the same over time.
While artists from all over the world come to showcase their art here, the museum highlights the work of local artists too.
We are in such a rich community of craft, both historically and in a contemporary sense. New England has such an amazing range of folks who make work, who work in craft, and whose work we're happy to see in our galleries.
With adults and kids classes, museum goers are encouraged to lean into their creative side and even get their hands a little messy.
Is not only can you come in and look at beautiful work, you can also come in and learn how to make it.
The museum isn't just in Brockton, it's part of the city's story. Founded through the vision of Brockton native and geologist Myron Fuller, Fuller Craft continues to inspire the next generation of artists.
So we're really privileged to be able to be the caretakers of such an amazing property, and it's just such a gem for people to come and experience.
They plan to expand part of their outdoor space into a resource and study room. The museum is free for Brockton residents and operates on a donation basis. Jordan Jagalinzer, WBZ News.
Well, from COVID closures now to historic runs, the movie theater business is seeing a massive resurgence. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey launched with $260 million worldwide. Meantime, AMC Theatres says it brought in record revenue last quarter. All right, that's a big turnaround. So what's behind this resurgence? In a world of ever-rising costs, bargain tickets are still possible.
As WBZ's Mike Sullivan reports tonight, after the pandemic slump, cinemas and movie companies got creative.
If nostalgia had a sound, the flicker of a film reel may be it. That film quality just isn't the same as clicking a streaming service at home.
We're seeing younger audiences coming out and being interested in seeing films on film the way that they were meant to be shown.
At Coolidge Corner Theater, they are showing Odyssey, a star-studded movie about the famous great poem. It's being served to audiences on this 70mm film.
It's been really crazy. We sold out our entire weekend of shows.
Coolidge Corner Theater Artistic Director Mark Anastasio is saying the format gives audiences a clear and unique picture.
You're starting from a much larger image in the film itself. So you're passing light through a frame this big as opposed to something half its size.
Their Odyssey matinee in 70mm film sold 100 tickets on a Monday. The poem itself spans 24 books, the film 9 reels.
Reading the Odyssey is an odyssey.
Reading the Odyssey is an odyssey in itself, but attending a screening of the Odyssey, it's just under 3 hours.
Look, it's Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, Zendaya, and Tom Holland. Even if you don't know the story of Odysseus, you still would come in. You'd still want to come and see it just for those actors alone.
Vanessa Morales is general manager at Alamo Drafthouse Cinema.
All right, perfect. That's going to be the Odyssey in Theater 9.
They sold 990 tickets to Odyssey on Saturday, despite having the end of Sail Boston and the World Cup. It's part of a movie-going renaissance theaters are seeing.
Because everybody's just tired of streaming at this point and being at home. Now it's just time to get out and change the environment.
Liam Kane Lascano only had a little knowledge of the books but came to see it when it opened.
Other than reading some excerpts in high school and Spark Notes, that's probably the little I know about the story going into the movie.
He sat through it once and can't wait to see it again on film.
It's like a labor of love, right? It's not just something that you plug into a hard drive and just, put on a big screen.
In Boston, I'm Mike Sullivan, WBZ News.
Whether you're visiting playgrounds or mountain trails, there is a new way to experience Massachusetts state parks.
It's called the Park Passport Challenge, and it's helping residents of all ages explore everything DCR parks have to offer, as our Levin Reed shows us.
It's a fun statewide scavenger hunt designed for parents and kids to do together.
You go to one of these locations, you find the yellow box, you have a little combination in your passport, and when you open up the box, you'll have a stamp that is unique to this location.
The 2026 Park Passport Challenge gets you off the couch and gives you a chance to experience different DCR parks that are in the state.
Well, we want families and friends and communities to get outside, to just explore. We have a wonderful, diverse park system. Those 12 locations will bring you to a forest, a reservoir, a dairy farm, mountain trails. Really exciting. We want to get you out.
So here's how it works. We are at Artisani Playground. We have located the yellow box, and the passport guide will tell you the combination. You open the box, get your stamp, and you are one step closer to finishing the challenge.
You're excited. I can see the smile.
Yes.
I mean, your first stamp.
You said it was for kids, and then I'm thinking adults. Yeah. You've been to parks too. You're like, hey.
Absolutely.
Where's my stamp?
Come out, walk your dog, and stop by, get your stamp, visit all 12. This goes on until November, so it's not a rush during the summer. And again, it is all ages. Like, everyone has a place to belong in DCR parks.
And while you're here at the park, you can take in what makes this space special. Artisani Playground is in a perfect location.
You're looking at a pirate ship. You've got the river to our left, a wading pool. You can picnic here, and you're minutes from downtown Boston.
And let's not forget the octopus seesaw. In Brighton, I'm Levin Reed, WBZ News.
Well, this isn't the type of reaction you usually see from audiences watching a play, but Paranormal Activity isn't your typical stage show.
No, the production inspired by the popular movie series is basically a horror movie come to life. And the scares on stage are in the spotlight.
Shut your eyes, please. Settle into the darkness.
It's a wonderful challenge to try to make people disappear and scare people and do all sorts of things on stage in front of a live audience. It's wonderful.
Travis A. Knight and Cher Alvarez co-star as James and Lou, a couple who just moved from Chicago to London, only to discover the spooky things that made them leave may have followed them.
Places aren't haunted. People are.
One of the greatest things about the show is that it's pulled in such a younger audience. And also, we've had repeated guests come back and forth because people love horror. It's a very popular genre, and we have a lot of first-time theater goers.
We're live. There's nowhere to hide. We get to do this thing in front of all these folks and scare people in the seats.
Fans of the Paranormal Activity film franchise need to know this piece looks very different from the movies.
There's no really found video footage that we're executing here, but it's very much like we're gonna scare the out of you because of certain things that we're doing on stage.
Lights and sound help create the magic.
There's an art, there's a stagecraft to what we do up there. I mean, this is probably one of the most technical shows I've ever been a part of.
I was never expecting to do a show with that kind of reaction from an audience and having to like really hold for the fright and the laughter, but like a genuine like fearful laughter that it's just different than, oh, that's funny. It's like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? It's a tension.
Our shows are really sort of like, they're not driven by, but they're deeply influenced by the audiences that we have each night. We're still gonna do the show that we do.
Yeah.
But the audiences bring an energy to this thing that is really infectious and intoxicating.
Oh, yeah, and the audience can also ratchet up that tension. Paranormal Activity is at the Emerson Colonial Theater in Boston through July 30th. And from here, this production heads straight to Broadway. It opens there on August 14th.
I'd be down for that. It seems like a different kind of theater experience, you know. Scare me a little bit. Let me see how much I can handle before I'm looking for the bathroom.
Maybe you go in the afternoon, too, when it's not quite as scary.
Yes, the bat day, for sure.